There is much hue and cry at present over alleged incidences of attacks against minorities reported from central India. Those who raise the outcry cite two examples, one from Chhattisgarh and another from Odisha. Actually, what happened at Chhattisgarh was police arrested two nuns based on complaints and also based on court orders. So that cannot be simply said as a public or attack by a public group or a vigilante group against Christian missionaries. But of course, there were protests by groups allegedly belonging to Sangh Parivar in Odisha. The opposition has not missed this opportunity. They say those two examples are quintessential examples of the intolerance practiced by Sangh Parivar against minority groups. They say these incidences reflect the hostility of Sangh Parivar against voices of dissent. Is the situation as simple as that, or are there larger issues involved? Why I say so? There are people who believe that the current hue and cry is a result of something else, is inspired by something else. What is that? Currently, Naxalites operating from these two states, Chhattisgarh and Odisha, you will be are on the run. You will be remembering that these are states where one used to witness Naxal activities earlier. I mean, Chhattisgarh was the hotbed of Naxalism earlier. But at present, they are on the run. Home Minister Amit Shah has promised to wipe out Naxalism and Naxal menace by next year. So, since Naxalites are on the run, they want to buy some time. They want to, destroy the morale of state governments. And that is why they are making certain allegations against those governments. They are even using very minor incidents to, to add fuel into the fire and to create a public opinion and to create a public, divert public conscience, control the national dialogue. So there are reasons to believe that there is some substance in this argument. Let's go deep into the whole issue. Welcome to Insights. I am Hari Kumar. Let's start from the arguments that say that the current hue and cry is, part of a propaganda war unleashed by certain Naxal groups. As I said earlier, currently Naxalism is on the wane in central India. That was not the situation earlier. Though at present the Congress and other opposition parties have taken up the cause of these extreme leftists, you need to remember that 10 to 15 years ago, the situation was much different in Chhattisgarh. Around in 2011, the Congress was unable to hold their election campaigns in Chhattisgarh. There were many, attacks against Congress leaders. You would be surprised, startled, and intrigued to know that the Pradesh Congress Committee, PCC President of Chhattisgarh, Nandkumar Patel, was killed in a Naxal attack in 2011. A leader of stature as former Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, V.C. Shukla, he was one of the confidants of Indira Gandhi, and he was killed in a Naxal attack. So you now realize the gravity of the situation that prevailed in Chhattisgarh. But the situation has changed at present. The government has now gained upper hand in the war against Naxalism. This is not my conclusion. This opinion is based on facts. For example, in 2010, if you look at the number of attacks by Naxals and the number of attacks by Naxals now. If you look at the number of people killed in war with the Naxals and the number of people who are killed at present, there is a vast difference. So this supports the claim of the government. For example, earlier number of districts that were affected by Naxalism was 126. That was in 2010-12 period. By April 2018, the number of districts that were affected by Naxal menace came down to 90. By July 2021, it further declined to 70. And in 2024, that plummeted to just 38. So definitely that's an evidence of the upper hand of the government in fight against Naxalism. The districts that were severely affected by Naxal movement was earlier 12. Now it is only 6. Violent incidences involving Naxals were 1936 in 2010, whereas in 2024 it declined to just 374. So there was a decline of over 81%. Number of deaths involving fight with Naxalites. I mean the deaths include the policemen killed as well as the Naxals killed. The number was 1005 in 2010. By 2024 that declined to 150. Many top leaders of Naxalites were killed. The attack on Karigunda Hills, which was considered to be, a stronghold of Naxalites, was a historic, gain. The leader of Naxalites, his name is, Kesav Rao. Kesav Rao was killed by security forces then. So if you look at the gains of the security forces, the gains were huge gains. So now there is ample evidence that Naxalites are on the back foot. Now the Naxalites desperately need some time, and perhaps this is the reason why there is such a hue and cry, because they want the government to lose its morale. They want to make allegations of human rights violations against BJP governments in Chhattisgarh as well as Odisha. They want to raise certain issues. They want the government to pull back the security forces. So this is why they are raising such, deploying such tactics. Even during 2013, when I think then Union Home Minister was P. Chidambaram. P. Chidambaram wanted an all-out drive against police security drive against Naxals. At that time, the National Advisory Council headed by Sonia Gandhi, someone from that council intervened and Mr. Chidambaram had to withdraw his plans. So still you will be surprised that it is not the BJP that has suffered too much because of the Naxal menace. Congress itself had suffered. But it is surprising that a group in the Congress has influenced the policy of the party, and the party is not in favor of action against Naxalites. So somebody's vested interests have to be protected. Regarding, the connection with the missionaries and Naxals, that have been alleged many times earlier. Many times, missionary, as I said, one former Naxal confessed before a Malayalam media that missionaries used to give them medical aid, financial aid, and arms at times. There have been allegations that missionaries formed their own groups in many areas and they used to, fight with security forces. One such name was that of Valsa John. Valsa John was a member of Missionaries of Charity. She was killed in, I think that was in Jharkhand. She was killed in 2011. At that time, Naxals alleged that she was hand in glove with the mining lobby. At the same time, the media and the church denied it, and they tried to project that security forces allegedly killed her. But Naxals publicly claimed, on record, they claimed that it was they who killed. It was that report was even published by the BBC. So the situation is complex. If you look at the history of missionaries, they have a history of supporting militants, separatist groups in not just in India but in Sri Lanka also. For example, LTT used to receive help from Christian missionaries. The fact that some of the separatist groups in Nagaland were controlled and supported by missionaries is not a secret. The Baptist Church has been alleged to have links with NSCIN. So, if you take into account the whole, the history, then you would realize that there is likely to be fact in the allegation that at present the hue and cry that Christian missionaries are being attacked in Chhattisgarh and Odisha is part of a covert campaign aimed to put the government on defensive, aimed to blame the government, aimed to destroy the morale of security forces and allow Naxalites to recoup. I hope the union government will realize it. The BJP unfortunately doesn't have a propaganda machinery that can counter the allegations of these extreme left groups and their supporters in churches. So unilateral narratives are being spread in the society. This is why I think such narratives appear as headlines in media. Let's see how the BJP is going to counter this, whether they will be able to, counterattack. Let's see. I will be back with updates. Till then, goodbye.